he admitted to police killing his 10-year-old brother. Now, investigators say the teen told them he was a fan of the show Dexter. Remember that show? What did the judge decide? Welcome back to Prime News, folks. Sentencing today in the so-called Dexter murder. That's the 18-year-old who admitted to killing his brother, and he told investigators he was a fan of the show Dexter. Now, Andrew Connolly received life in prison. Connolly pled guilty to strangling his 10-year-old brother Connor back in 2009, and here's what Connolly said when he was explaining what happened.
Try to help us understand, though.
It was just like when people have something like they're hungry and there's a hamburger sitting there, they know they had to have it, and I was just sitting there and it just happened.
All right, the defense asked for 45 to 46 years. You're looking at this life sentence and saying, is this just? Should he maybe be in a mental facility as opposed to a prison? Let's bring back in our legal dream team, criminal defense attorney Jenny Page and also Mark Eiglarz. Jenny, I want to start with you. The defense in this case was arguing for some sort of mental incapacity. This is a young man who says he's influenced by the show Dexter, and that caused him to kill his brother. Isn't that mental incapacity? Should he be in a facility that deals with this kind of issue as opposed to a prison?
I think you've raised excellent issues. I've been following this case for some time, and this young man was seriously mentally ill by everyone's account. He heard voices, he was schizophrenic, he had out-of-body experiences. I think the real question is, why was he his brother's caretaker?
You know, and Mark, I look at this, and all this, he's looking at life in prison. A lot of times we talk about this and we say, well, will he change? Will this make him better? What do you think about this sentence? I want to ask you the same question as before. Is this too harsh?
Well, let me just say this. The judge has a lot of precedent to follow. Our country is one of only a few in the world that puts minors in prison away for life. Libya and Iran are two to mention. And I think there was a lot for the judge to consider to reduce the sentence down to 45 to 65 years. The kid is mentally ill, and also we know that children's frontal lobe of their brain, the portion that governs reasoning and judgment, was not fully formed. So I'm not defending what he did. What he did was abhorrent and horrible, and he needs to be punished for it. But why doesn't 45 to 65 years in prison, which is what his attorneys asked for, why doesn't that cover it?
Right, and you know what? I don't, you know, what he did was horrifying, but you got to think, yes, what will happen to this individual in prison? Mark, I want to ask you one more question here. The show, Dexter, do we blame that show? I've watched that show. Do we blame that show? Do we try to hold that show responsible?
Absolutely not. I love that show, and if anything, Dexter follows a very strict moral code. He doesn't kill good people, he kills bad people. So this kid didn't follow what Dexter does.
But Jenny, I wonder if kids are watching this kind of show, are they influenced in the same way? Just asking the question.
You know, everybody can be influenced by anything. If somebody has already some serious mental health issues going on, it doesn't matter if it's Dexter, if it's the Charles Manson story.
Right.
This was a case where neighbors were concerned that there was so little supervision at the home. This older boy was responsible for the younger boy. In this case, he continued to strangle him 20 minutes after he lost consciousness. Clearly a lack and a break with reality, and I hope that the facility he's sent to has some minimal.
Thank you so much, and thank you also to Mark Eiglarz.